They said I was mad! Preposterous! Not an angry bone in my body! Have them all removed! If a protracted battle is what you desire, so be it!
Well, hello everyone. As you can see, I'm just continuing where I left off in the last part. I was really hoping the 13 would be it, but since it took too long to speak with Dr. Moebius, I'll just finish it in the number 14. Now it shouldn't really take too long. So let's just finish these Scorpions and Dr. Moebius, and then we'll see how do we finish this series. Well, Moebius went down pretty fast. And he was actually curious on what it's like to be killed. So he just got what he wanted. Well, that's that. And here's our little brain that we were missing.
Well, well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been? Crawling through pits of radioactive muck again?
Oh my god, I'm gonna have a talk with my brain as well.
Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie? Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, quote, Dick, unquote, as if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the wastes. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave? Do you think I enjoyed that little moment? I most certainly am not. I'm the seat of all reason and logic in our little partnership. All those feelings that motivate you, that sense of righteousness and that rush you get when you help someone, do you know where those come from? Glands. They come from glands. Free of the tyranny of your ape-like and primitive endocrine system, I can see how foolish your motives are. Well, look, it's all a very complex system of biofeedback and other things I wouldn't expect you to understand. Oh, all right. Perhaps I am, but at least I'm logical about it. I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. Well, barring the odd rogue scorpion. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological functions. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate? It's quite a lot, I can tell you. Overrated biological feedback. Believe me, you only feel that way because you've got all that meat. Oozing hormones. I suppose you're right. That does call certain assumptions into question, doesn't it? Indeed, quite the conundrum. How do you suppose we resolve it? I suppose there might be some advantage to that, yes. There's a chance that the reintegration would create some improved synergy between us. Well, I suppose you've convinced me well enough. I'll rejoin your body if that's your final decision. Unfortunately, before we get to that stage of the proceedings, we have a problem. Even if I could settle myself back in your skull and reconnect all those pesky nerve endings, Dr. Moebius doesn't have the tools here. We would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab, and I rather doubt the brains are inclined to share. And you believe them? Really? I know you were recently deprived of my fabulous advice, but... Really? Once I'm delivered into their clutches, they'll find a way past the radar fence and the whole Mojave will be their playground. And that is assuming, of course, that one of them doesn't take a fancy to our body and decide to slip his own brain into it instead. Don't seem so bad. They vivisected us just to see what would happen. Have you forgotten the lobotomites? The cyber dogs, I assume you saw those. Imagine that kind of science spread across the entire Mojave. Every man, woman, and child we've met reduced to a lobotomite. Is that what you want? Well, I suppose I do miss those endorphin rushes when we save the day. All right, what's the plan? Right! Look out, think tank! This brain is coming out of its jar! I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts the think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you, the Sync's autodock can plug them back in no problem. Right then, off we go! Klein will be in for a nasty shock when he realizes the pacification field won't work on a mind and body reunited.
Okay, that was easy. Let's just collect what's left of these. Nah, let's just speed it up. Hey, wait.
Oh, please, please!
Got any more soup? Greetings, citizen. Greetings, citizen. that?
Might I be of service? Very.
I love mugs so much, I just might kill myself.
Okay then, I guess we're ready,
You require some additional
almost ready, to confront the think tank. First we will take our organs. Sweet, my original spine comes with bonuses as well.
You require some additional service. All right.
And it seems that so does my heart.
You require some additional. All right.
I was wondering if I can also install brain here.
You require some addition.
Let's just do the healing.
Sedition!
And now we can go to the think tank. Yeah, I guess we are ready.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Dr. Moebius been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts, as we hoped? I recommend watching your tone with me, lobotomite. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it again. And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. All you must do is surrender. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything in it. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. A fertile testing ground for our experiments.
This should be interesting. Okay, let's go this way.
That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. There's no way Moebius would condescend to step inside you. Besides, there's no way such a thing could be accomplished. It's impossible. You speak the truth. And the decibel variation in your voice. It is Moebius. How dare you breach the think tank? And what do you want here? That's no deal at all. There's a whole world beyond the crater, filled with ideas and possibilities. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves, tested it, prodded at it, made it squirm.
Now I'm not sure. Will I permit him only to stay here or to go to Mojave? Oh, this should be the right answer, so I guess I have to try.
Partner with you? My foe? My rival? My foremost critic? I have a strange sensation that I would like that. How odd. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service as long as you do not destroy us.
Okay, I guess it's done. Maybe I should just check first if they have anything else to say. Especially Klein. There he is.
Thank you for what you have done. I feel an odd emotion. Platitude? Attitude? No, wait. Gratitude. That's it.
Well, I guess nothing more then. And what about
Bear,
Dal?
the bottom-like returns. My teddy bear. How can I assist in relieving your curiosity?
Oh, there's nothing. I guess we can just go. To finish this DLC.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others, which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The Sync Central Intelligence Unit was impressed by the amount of exploration the courier had undertaken. Facilities believed lost, destroyed, or ones that had simply gotten up and walked to new locations had been rediscovered by its intrepid new master. Internally, the artificial personality debated as to whether it preferred the old management to the new, and concluded that the courier's thorough approach to research and investigation was admirable and worthy of its respect.
The Forbidden Zone continued to be, true to its name, forbidden. No more robo-scorpions were sighted in its canyons. Big Mountain became even emptier, devoid of Dr. Moebius's proclamations forecasting the destruction of anything that dared possess sentience. Still, it is said he lived on in the equations inscribed on the floor and walls of the Forbidden Zone dome. A cobweb tracery of symbols that told of 1,000 brilliant thoughts, now lost to time.
The Sync atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The biological research station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat. One of them eventually transferred to the Lightwave Dynamics plant, and began a long, unrequited affair with one of the holograms.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magnetohydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean. Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other sink personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names much too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it, without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ, and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond. Although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, old world blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
Oh, my original brain gives me some perks as well. I'm just gonna be stronger in the Mojave. Transportal ponder. This gives me the opportunity to travel to Mojave and back anytime I want. That's nice. That means I can make my permanent base here. So I use the portal something transponder to get back to Mojave to finish the DLC and just traveled a bit around, collected few items. And now I decided to try to go back to the Big Empty. So let's just equip that funny kind of a weapon, or teleport. And we can try what will happen once we use it. And it seems it can transport me from anywhere outside in the Mojave back to the balcony in the Big Empty, which is quite nice. It's a pretty fast and convenient way to get back to my new base.
I hate myself for asking this.
Doesn't seem that anything changed. It's pretty much the same as it was before me leaving. Oh, as for the Big Empty locations, I think I have been everywhere, so there's probably not much of a point to go and do more exploring, though I probably missed a few of the skill book's recipes and they must be lying somewhere around. But the point is, well, I don't really need them since I have almost all the skills maxed out. So I guess there's not really much of a point to travel outside of the dome. Not anymore. Okay then. Otherwise the base is sweet, there's pretty much everything I will need, and there's lots of storage space. And of course there's also a garden with its own plants, so I assume I can occasionally collect stuff.
Baby, don't believe a word that Sync says.
But I think I will have to disable that stupid machine. Well, at least its voice.
Always nice to see you, baby. Bring me any new plans from outside?
Not really.
It was getting lonely with...
Greetings, citizen. What? Greetings, citizen. What?
You ever heard of Tiny Lester Luton?
I guess I will have to do a little organization in my inventories to sort things into different containers, but otherwise there's plenty of space.
Will Sir be staying for any...
Let's just check if there's anything new in the shop. It seems to be pretty much the same items that I left here or that were there before, so nothing new, nothing added. Well, it means it will probably not be restocked with fresh or new interesting items, so I will still have to rely on shops in the Mojave to get new stuff. But otherwise it's cool base and it's easy to get to. Let's now try to get back to the Mojave with the transponder. As you can see, it doesn't work from inside, so all we have to do is to get the balcony and then use it again. Well, there's a little disadvantage that it gets me to the DLC start location and not to my previous last location in the Mojave. But that's just a minor issue. Of course it would have been better if it remembered where I left. Anyway, Old World Rules was great DLC and I can only recommend it if you're a fan of the New Vegas. But this is the end of this series. Next one will be the next DLC. Thank you for watching, bye bye!